It's no secret that Walt Disney Imagineering's recent construction projects and renovations have been almost universally criticized for their minimalistic designs lacking thematic detail that Disney's parks used to be known for. Now, it seems that the most profitable area of all of Walt Disney World has been expanded in a way only a Gensler executive could love. And former Imagineers are not happy. Let's examine Magic Kingdom's horrible Emporium expansion / renovation here on That Park Place.
You know, a little sprinkling of Tinkerbell's fairy dust can make you fly. Get that stuff off of me.
Well, there's no pixie dust or anything to be found here, that's for sure. Looking at here on Blog Mickey, new look revealed for Magic Kingdom's Emporium gift shop. And yes, you said it best, Jonas. A lot of notable Imagineers have come out to criticize this specific design right here. And I think it's for a pivotal reason, but we'll go ahead and get to that in just a moment right here. This posted by, like I said, Block Mickey, March 3rd, 2025. Construction walls are down at the Emporium gift shop in Magic Kingdom, revealing a new look for the northernmost section of the location. Construction began in mid-January and wrapped up this weekend. We made it out to Magic Kingdom recently to take a look at the new look. Well, boy, oh boy. I mean, there it is, folks. I mean, it is.
This is, okay, this is arrows on the floor. That looks like tape. Is that real? Is that permanent?
Apparently, yeah, that's what we got. We don't actually have stanchions or queue permanently set up there. We have tape, at least for now. I mean, maybe they didn't actually add the switchbacks to this, but I'm actually not sure about that. But and at least they retained the ceiling in this section right here. This added on to section right here. I mean, this looks really, really, really bad. I don't know what they were thinking right here. I have no idea. And actually, my mom, who was very critical of this move as well, was like, wait a minute, that floor is white. It happens to rain there on occasion in Florida. What happens when people trek in what they trek in to this space? How's that going to look, over an enhanced period of time? That's an interesting idea. But you can see right here, I mean, I've seen it. I've seen it compared to, I think my comparison was to a Dillard's, but some people say that that's just far too kind. And some people have said Dullards as well. Maybe that was Kevin Apollo right there with that look. But look, why do you have 4 different treatments for the floor within like 2 feet?
Right. This is, yeah. And for those of you who don't know, Dillard's is a department store. Does Dillard's even exist anymore?
I thought it did, but I know they were closing down some locations.
I mean, they're like,
maybe that's not the most apt.
I guess we can compare it to Burlington Coat Factory or Men's Warehouse or something at this point. That to me looks like expansion and only accepting what is available at the time. I don't understand what this is. One of those profitable areas of the entire Magic Kingdom, and they're not putting in the money to actually make this thing work. This is a rush job.
Per square foot, I have heard tales that this is one of the most profitable retail locations in the world per square foot. And yet, like you said, Jonas, we're not putting in the extra effort for this, especially something like on Main Street, for example. I mean, come on. This is where you really spend the money because it is your entrance to the park. This is the start of people's day and so forth. This is the impression that you set for not just their enjoyment of their day, but also to get them in a mood to want to spend money on retail and so forth. What are you doing? What is this? And this is why Eddie Sato has actually come out and talked about this. Eddie Sato, Walt Disney World versus Disneyland Paris' Emporium. I know budget and ROI is often blamed for weak executions, but tell me, what store grosses more PSF, per square foot, than the Emporium? No excuse not to amaze. Intentionally minimal, modern retail strategy. And here you go. This is Disneyland Paris's Main Street, which Eddie Sato was the lead on that specific project right here. You can see the use of carpet and so forth, the use of ornamentation, the stack and
pillars,
decor.
The chandeliers, the treatments on the ceiling. This is beautiful. I mean, it is retail, so I'm not going to oversell it here, but it is. This is a fancy looking space, and that is something that you might expect to see in any. The museum gift shop at the last children's museum I went to might be nicer looking than this, or comparable materials here. Oh, look at that nice use of recessed lighting up there. They didn't even, not all the lights are on, by the way. I'm going to point that out.
That's a good point, actually. Jim Shaw was particularly brutal. Obviously, an Imagineer who goes back a lot of ways. I suppose I should set up Eddie Soto as well. Eddie Soto worked in during the second generation of Imagineers, was very prolific in not only the Main Street on Disneyland Paris, but a lot of enhancements and improvements to Disneyland. Worked on Space Mountain, actually, to provide its first soundtrack system and so forth. A lot of VO work. Anyway, you might not know the face or the name, but you know the work.
Jim Shaw. He was a senior vice president of Imagineering, correct?
You could be exactly spot on right there. I haven't tracked the leadership of WDI for quite some time, so perhaps you could be correct. Jim Shaw right there. Unbelievably prolific with Imagineering. Worked there for a lot of years, off and on, I think for about 30 years or so. Magic Kingdom remodeled store is Disney serving guests. That actually correlates with another story that we have. And calling it chocolate. When I was an Imagineer, if I had pitched this, I'd be fired. Disgraceful design done on the cheap. This looks like the Oklahoma service stop I went to recently. Main Street followed the design, so the soda machine must be around the corner. Do the executives ever look at the designs anymore, or is it all only about money? Hashtag Disney Parks fail. Oh,
wow.
Man.
Jim Shull used to be the lone voice out there of Imagineers, giving the company a hard time on Twitter. By the way, those chandeliers are still there. They're just in the section right next to this. So it's now 3 different kinds of lighting as well in the Emporium. It's a mishmash. It's a hodgepodge. This is really silly here. This is something that Disney makes, like they both said, Disney makes more money in this space than anywhere, perhaps anywhere else on Earth. And they can't afford a couple of nickels and dimes here to make this work. I don't understand the long hardwood plank strip that does not match the other plank strip. If it was transitioning from one kind to another and you were going to sell a different product in that space, or a different kind of product, there may be a case for that. But this is just silly. This is ugly. This is like when somebody builds onto their house and they don't have enough funds to refinish the original portions of the house, or to make it match. At this point,
you couldn't, round the support columns right there. You had to go square it off, like I don't know, the executive office complex. Yeah, maybe Gensler contributed to this design. Well, somebody who
no, if it was Gensler, they would have ripped out the original stuff and replaced it with something that looks like a hotel lobby.
That's a fair point. But somebody who can design very, very well. Eddie Soto again. Just for grins, I literally took 10 minutes on my iPad to mark up the space to show at a minimum that it wasn't that far off. There certainly would be a return on investment. Mostly added moldings, lighting, wall coverings for the ceilings, and some ornamentation. The floor having a pattern in tile or stone would be the biggest improvement. It's not that hard. If it has to be a path, some people were saying that this is a pathway, right, in order to allow for people to make it from one side of the main street to the other if there is maybe a parade or a big event going past. If it has to be a path, make it obvious, and a good one. You could easily add most of this. The floor is another story.
Yeah. Well, I think, one, it's good to see more Imagineers speaking out against what's going on at the company at this point. I think we've obviously been talking about this for a long time. We're longtime Disney fans. I don't want to compare myself to Vash's level of knowledge here, but Vash knows a lot. But to have not just the curmudgeonly, but the qualified coming out and saying, Disney, what are you doing? I personally appreciate it, because we're all just sitting here like wondering, like, what exactly happened to this company that they keep doing things like this.
In the last week or so, we've had not one, not two, but 3 prominent Imagineers, or at least former Imagineers, actually come out and speak against what's going on in the company, particularly at Magic Kingdom, actually. One of those was the River, of course. But I think people are becoming a little bit more vocal, because I think what the company is doing is becoming that much more outrageous. So we'll have to see what the future holds for Magic Kingdom, but don't hold your breath.
Right. Van Usley, I believe, is also speaking out against what's going on at Rivers of America, as if every person who has been to Disney has not spoken out against the Rivers of America being destroyed.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.